continued with examples, which I feel generally we do the same because as per their syllabus, as per their chapters, they have a prescribed book. So we just go with the traditional approach. We first tell them the rules, the structure, and then we continue with the exercises. So basically, deductive approach is a teacher-centered approach. It is a teacher-centered approach. For example, I have just given here, I've taken the example of chapter. If we have to teach conjunctions, through deductive approach, how do we teach? We will first define it. We'll give a definition. Then we will then what are the different usage of conjunction? We will explain all these to the learner, and then we can see that the exercises also given in the book. So they are given the exercises to do, like to join sentences with suitable conjunctions, as it is given in their books also. So this kind of approach comes under the deductive approach of teaching English grammar. Like he will study, if I give students question, he will study, he will play football, and after telling him the definition, type, the usage, and then I will ask him to join. He will join these two sentences by either he will study and he will play football. Okay, so this is the deductive approach. Now let us see the inductive approach. This approach challenges the students to formulate their own concepts. Like in the previous slide, the last example that we saw, he will study, he will play football. So if I just give them these two sentences first, without telling them the rules. Okay, students, I have written here, he will study, he will play football, and now try to join. So obviously some of them will join, like he will study, but he will play football, or he will study, so he will play football, whatever. But some of the students will give the answer, he will study and play football. Okay, so it means through this is the inductive approach in which the students learn by doing, learning by doing. So this approach challenges the students to formulate their own concepts by examining all the evidence provided and recognizing patterns to arrive at a solution. This is, as we have seen, this is a student-centric approach based on the idea that students are more likely to learn when they are actively engaged in learning process. It does not rely on strict lesson plans, and it is time-consuming also. So, because in schools there is time constraint, so inductive approach is quite time-taking. So it is quite difficult to plan in the classroom. But we can combine both inductive and deductive approach simultaneously to get a good result. Okay, so because this inductive approach, it promotes learning by doing. It promotes learning by doing. So this is, I think, in all the subjects. Some rules of grammar that we all follow. Let's just have a look. Use active voice. Use voice. So whenever we have to speak, we have to keep in mind that we should use active voice. We should speak the sentences in active voice. Can anyone just throw some more light? Why should, while speaking, why should we first go with active voice, not with passive voice? Like he is football, or we have to inform he is playing football. So he should say, just saying that football is being played. Okay, this is necessary. Means it is, we should go back while talking to anyone.
Nibha ma'am, you are not properly audible. Nibha ma'am, you are not properly audible.
Yes. I'm not audible.
Ma'am, not audible.
Not audible. Sir, let's connect with my network. मेरे network से connect करके. Okay. Now am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
ठीक. Okay. Now, so we should always say any sentence in active voice, because here subject we refer to the doer who is performing the action, and in active voice the doer of the action means the subject is the doer of the action. So while telling anything to anyone, we should always use active voice in spite of passive voice. Now, second, we should link the ideas with conjunction. We should, if we have 2-3 sentences, we can join them with the help of conjunction. It will save our time as well. Now, use a comma to connect two ideas as one. We all know this. We all do this. Then use a serial comma in a list. If we have a list sort of thing, then there we can use serial comma, that is 2 dots, and then we can enter all the names together. Then use the simple present tense for habitual actions. So teachers, we all know that simple present tense, if we all have studied tenses, so to express habitual actions, we use simple present tense. Okay, that is verb plus S or ES. Okay. Then 7th rule, use the present progressive tense in current action. Means present progressive tense is present continuous tense. Okay. Then add ed to the verb for past tense. Then use present perfect for the unfinished past. Unfinished past means past perfect. Use present perfect for the unfinished past means the work which has been started in the past, but it is unfinished and it is still going on. The effect is still there. So in that case, we use present perfect tense. Then present perfect progressive for unfinished action and the past. Then we should use past perfect for the first of our 2 past actions. If we are talking about 2 actions in the past, then for the action which has been completed first, for that we use past perfect tense. Okay, now let us move on to the next. Some of the common grammatical mistakes which the students also do, and in which many a times we adults also get confused. It is one common mistake that we all do is misplaced apostrophes. Now, apostrophe mark, we all know it is used to either shorten 2 words or to show the belongingness. To show the belongingness, basically we use apostrophe to show belongingness. So here, many people put it at a wrong place. The apostrophes. Many people use an apostrophe to form the plural. These are some of the common mistakes we get every day when our students solve this. So, the rule says that apostrophe goes before the S. Apostrophe mark go before the S in case it indicates something belonging to a singular noun. As you can see, I have written here one example, the girl's house. The girl's horse. So girl here is a singular. Girls here is a singular noun. So here we have put apostrophe mark before S. But when we talk of plural noun, as you can see, the example, the boys' football. The boys' football. Here, boys is plural, and we are referring to a football which belongs to a group of boys. So here, see, I have placed apostrophe mark after S. After S. So, One more common mistake that is made while using by using means in apostrophes is the use of its and it apostrophe mark and then s. It is an exception. It is an exception. Okay? Here we have always read that apostrophe mark is used to indicate possessions, but here there is one exception to this rule. Here we use apostrophe s with it when to shorten it is. When we have to show belongingness, like it's like suppose if we are talking of any animal, so it's food. So we will not use apostrophe mark there. But if we have to shorten it is, then we will use this apostrophe mark with it here. Okay. Now, tenses and subject-verb agreement. I think one of the most important part of grammar. The basic idea behind subject-verb agreement is that the verb needs to agree with their subject. Needs to agree their subject means needs to go. If the subject is singular, the verb should be singular. If the subject is plural in number, then the verb should also be in plural. So behind this concept is also the hidden concept of tenses, I feel. If a person has understood tenses, then I think that there would be no mistake in understanding the concept of subject-verb agreement. Like some of the common usage of subject-verb agreement, like whenever we use a pair of whatever, a pair of trousers, a pair of jeans, a pair of spectacles. So there, many a times we get confused whether to use singular verb or plural verb. So whenever we use a pair of, we should remember that it takes a singular verb with it. Why? Because when we have combined a pair of, so two things come together and they become a pair. So that is why a singular verb is used. Then one more thing, that collective nouns like a herd of bees, a bunch of keys, whatever. So collective nouns they also always take a singular verb. Now, people, police, cattle. We often use police is coming. Police has come. So these terms, these nouns, people, police, cattle, they are always considered as plural. So they always take plural verbs with them. Okay, some more examples here. Nouns denoting food, clothing, furniture, food, clothing, furniture, and stationery. They are singular, and so they take a singular verb. In the same way, when we use a lot of, plenty of, these are used to indicate quantity. So it takes a singular verb. Whereas when they are used for numbers means countables, then they take plural verbs. हम लोग use करते हैं a lot of, plenty of sugar is kept in the jar. So because sugar is uncountable, so with uncountable, these terms a lot of, plenty of will take singular verb. Whereas if the noun is countable, then see the example, a lot of boys are visiting the museum. In spite of a lot of boys is visiting the museum because boys are countable. So a lot of boys are visiting the museum. Now, one more important part of the subject-verb agreement, yes, news. News is always regarded as a singular subject, and so it takes a singular verb. So, in spite of telling newses are, or so there are so many newses, no. So, news always takes a singular verb. Then, this we have already discussed. Whenever we use a pair of, now anybody, everybody, each, either, someone, etc. All these take singular verb. All these take singular verb. Students often get confused in homophones. Homophones are the words having same sound, similar sound, but different meanings. Homophones, they have same sound but different meanings. So as you can see, these spellings, in these spellings, students often get confused, like affect and effect, access and excess, stationary and stationary. Can anyone tell me which station? What is the difference between these two stationary? NERY stationary and NARY stationary. Okay.
प्रेमजी सर बोलिए.
Yes, please, sir. Which one will come? So what is the difference, and which one is used to show stable things, and which one is used to show the paper, pencils, and all?
NARY, ma'am. NARY is for the stable, and
Stable
NERY,
things.
yes, NARY, stationary, NARY is for the stable.
Yes, NARY is for stable things, and NERY for all the things related to studies, paper, pencil, pen. Okay, thank you, sir. So now, lesson and lesson. Lightning and lightning. Illegible, eligible. Council, council. Stare and stare. Petrol, petrol. So these are the some of the common words which confuse us and are often misspelled. Now, articles a and the. Uh, we all are aware of these articles a and the. Which one out of three, which one a and the, which one is a definite article and which one is indefinite article? Can anyone share?
The is the definite article, ma'am.
The is
The
The
is the
is
definite,
indefinite.
okay.
definite, and an, indefinite.
Yes, the is definite because we use the for yes specific things. The is definite because we use the for specific things, whereas a and they can be used for anything. So that is why the is specific, whereas a and will come under the category of indefinite, and the will come under the category of definite. Now. Example is here of definite. I would like to eat the chocolate you bought from the store. So here, because we are talking of a particular chocolate bought from a particular store, because this chocolate means this is a particular thing, a specific chocolate is demanded. That is why here the chocolate, but a and an. I would like to eat a piece of chocolate. So any chocolate, any piece, okay, I can eat. So a and an comes under the come under the category of indefinite. Okay. Now, another part of grammar where we also get confused many a times. That is models. Models are used to express the mood or attitude of the speaker. We all know. So, we use both may and can to ask or give permission. We say, may I come in? Sometimes many students ask us in classroom also, can I come in? Many times they ask. So, see, can I have some more wafers? Or may I have some more wafers? What is the difference between the two? When both these are used to seek permission, then what is the difference between the two? Can and may?
Yeah.
Can shows
May,
ability,
yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
and
Ma'am,
may
actually,
shows
may is used for the permission, and can be used for the same like in between colleagues and all this. Can and may.
may.
May is for the permission, and can be used for the same age group or difference. As I know, ma'am. I don't know whether
Uh,
I'm wrong or right.
Actually, may is used for permission for the seniors. Actually, may is used for formal purposes. May is matlab more formal than can. May is more formal than can. So that is the difference. When we can is informal, may is formal. Yes, thank you, ma'am. So we use may for when we speak, when we talk in formal way. Can be used anywhere. In informal ways. Okay. Now one more thing, as I discussed that time, active and passive voice. So active voice sentences in which the subject performs the action are said to be in active voice. And thank you, sir. And passive voice sentences in which subject is the receiver of the action. Now children get confused here. What is the receiver of the action? What is the difference between a doer and what is the what do we understand? What is the teacher trying to tell by receiver of the action? So see this example. We heard the announcement. So here the subject is we. We heard the announcement. We are the subject. So we are the subject and we are performing some action. We are hearing the announcement. We have heard the announcement. We are the subject here. We are the doer. Means we heard the announcement. And see the second part. The announcement was heard by us. The announcement was heard by us. Here, the second statement, the announcement is not doing anything. The action is performed upon this. Announcement was done and we heard it. So that is the difference between active voice and passive voice. In active voice, subject is the doer of action, whereas in passive voice, the subject becomes the receiver of the action. Now, identify the voice of the given sentences. Now, teachers, it is not a test. Just for practice, just try to recognize whether here in these sentences, who is the subject performing the action or is the subject receiving the action? Just let us have a short discussion on it. Sheetal writes novels. So is it an active voice or passive voice?
Active.
Active voice.
It is an active
Active
voice.
voice, ma'am.
Why? Because Sheetal is the subject and
Sheetal is doing the work.
yes, she is performing the action. Okay, thank you. Now the second one, the artist sketched the portrait. The
Active
artist,
voice, ma'am.
again it is active because artist is performing the action. Artist is the doer. The third one, the house tax was paid by my father.
Passive. Passive
Passive
Buy
voice.
voice.
लग गया है मैम.
Yes, it
Buy,
is.
due to buy. It is passive.
Okay, due to buy only, sir. Due to buy. Huh? The house tax was paid by my father. So the house tax is not doing any action. This is the simplest way to recognize the house tax. It is
Father
not
is
doing any
performing
action.
the
No,
action.
action is performed upon it. The house tax was paid by my father. So it is in passive voice. Now the next one. The cyclist was hit by a racing truck.
Passive voice.
Passive voice.
Passive
Passive.
voice.
Okay. And the last one, the facts are known to us.
It
The
is also
facts are
passive.
known to
Passive.
us.
Passive. Passive.
Passive.
Passive voice. Achha, the facts are known to us. It is in passive voice. Can anyone just change it to active voice? What will be the active voice?
We know
We
the
know the
facts.
facts. Bhushan sir has said we know the
Know the
facts.
facts.
Okay. Okay, thank you, teachers. Now, so we generally express actions in active voice. This I have already discussed before. We generally express the actions in active voice. Now let us switch on to some of the methods which we can use in the classroom. So board work presentation can act as a resource. We all write it also in our lesson plan as a teaching aid, blackboard, green board, whatever, chalk duster. So board work presentation is a very can act as a resource in the classroom. So for a quick and easy presentation of a new language, the board is the most obvious resource to exploit. And we all do this in the classroom. So we can build a context here. Even if we do not have any other teaching aid, then the most important teaching aid becomes the blackboard, the green board, whatever we have in the classroom. So as a just if we have to teach 2-3 concepts of grammar together, see, I have written here one sentence. She has been to Mexico. Sorry. She has been to Mexico. Now, I will ask the students, I have written here she and apostrophe S. So, what do you understand? What may be its full form? I will write she is also. I will write she has also. So, through this way, student can recognize. Many students will say she is. Many will say she has. So, she has is the correct one. So, by practicing, by drilling, we can make students understand. Here she apostrophe S is not she is, it is she has been to Mexico. And similarly, we can also just ask the students to change it to negative form. So she has been to Mexico, she hasn't been to Mexico. So we have taught 2-3 concepts together using our board. Now, using the students as a resource. So students also act as a resource for us in the classroom. Direct context for language can often be found in the lives and experiences. Personal context can be more memorable than the stories of people from outside the student's world. We teach stories to students in the classroom, and then we ask question answers and all. We can sometimes just ask them to share their personal experiences, and through that we can teach them the rules, the grammar, the structure of sentences. Now, we can use their stories and experiences to teach tenses, narration, everything. Now, realia means the real situation, real things. We can sometimes we can use some real things which are present nearby us, or students can bring from their houses. Like bringing objects into the classroom can help bring a grammar point to life and create a physical memory hook. Realia can be used to create a context for the target language. Examples, we can things like a bag of rice, small bag of rice, sand, whatever, glass of water, a balloon, a tea bag, to introduce the concept of countables and uncountables. Now, so it is better to choose the inductive approach to allow the students to learn a language. But just as I discussed it in the beginning of the presentation, that because of the time constraint, the inductive we cannot totally go with inductive approach, but we can mix both the approaches together to get a better result. Correct the students in a positive way. If they make mistakes, in spite of scolding, we should correct them in a positive way. And that's all for today. Now my presentation is over. Now, if you have any doubts, or if you want to discuss anything.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Just I have this simple doubt. Nibha, can you hear me, ma'am? Please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, just